This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, visit LibriVox.org.
Pigs is Pigs by Ellis Parker Butler. Mike Flannery, the Westcote agent of the Interurban Express Company, leaned over the counter of the express office and shook his fist. Mr. Morehouse, angry and red, stood on the other side of the counter, trembling with rage. The argument had been long and heated, and at last Mr. Morehouse had talked himself speechless. The cause of the trouble stood on the counter between the two men. It was a soap-box, across the top of which were nailed a number of strips, forming a rough but serviceable cage. In it 2 spotted guinea pigs were greedily eating lettuce leaves.
"Do as you like, then,"
shouted Flannery.
"Pay for them and take them. Or don't pay for them and leave them be. Rules is rules, Mr. Morehouse, and Mike Flannery's not going to be called down for breaking of them."
"But you everlastingly stupid idiot!"
shouted Mr. Morehouse, madly shaking a flimsy printed book beneath the agent's nose.
"Can't you read it here in your own plain printed rates? Pets, domestic, Franklin to Westcote, if properly boxed, 25 cents each."
He threw the book on the counter in disgust.
"What more do you want? Aren't they pets? Aren't they domestic? Aren't they properly boxed? What?"
He turned and walked back and forth rapidly, frowning ferociously. Suddenly he turned to Flannery, and forcing his voice to an artificial calmness, spoke slowly but with intense sarcasm.
"Pets,"
he said.
P-E-T-S. 25 cents each. There are 2 of them. 1, 2. 2 times 25 are 50. Can you understand that? I offer you 50 cents.
Flannery reached for the book. He ran his hands through the pages and stopped at page 64.
"And I don't take 50 cents,"
he whispered in mockery.
"Here's the rule for it. When the agent be in any doubt regarding which of 2 rates applies to a shipment, he shall charge the larger. The consignee may file a claim for the overcharge. In this case, Mr. Morehouse, I be in doubt. Pets them animals may be, and domestic they may be, but pigs I'm blame sure they do be, and me rule says plain as the nose on your face, pigs, Franklin to Westcote, 30 cents each. And Mr. Morehouse, by me arithmetical knowledge, 2 times 30 comes to 60 cents.
Mr. Morehouse shook his head savagely.
"Nonsense!"
he shouted.
"Confounded nonsense, I tell you. Why, you poor ignorant foreigner, that rule means common pigs, domestic pigs, not guinea pigs."
Flannery was stubborn.
"Pigs is pigs,"
he declared firmly.
"Guinea pigs, or Dago pigs, or Irish pigs is all the same to the Interurban Express Company and to Mike Flannery. The nationality of the pig creates no differentiality in the rate, Mr. Morehouse. 'Twould be the same was they Dutch pigs or Rooshian pigs. Mike Flannery," he added, "is here to tend to the express business, and not to hold conversation with Dago pigs in 17 languages for to discover be they Chinese or Tipperary by birth and nativity."
Mr. Morehouse hesitated. He bit his lip and then flung out his arms wildly.
"Very well,"
he shouted.
"You shall hear of this. Your president shall hear of this. It is an outrage. I have offered you 50 cents. You refuse it. Keep the pigs until you are ready to take the 50 cents. But by George, sir, if one hair of those pigs' heads is harmed, I will have the law on you."
He turned and stalked out, slamming the door. Flannery carefully lifted the soap-box from the counter and placed it in a corner. He was not worried. He felt the peace that comes to a faithful servant who has done his duty and done it well. Mr. Morehouse went home raging. His boy, who had been awaiting the guinea pigs, knew better than to ask for them. He was a normal boy, and therefore always had a guilty conscience when his father was angry. So the boy slipped quietly around the house. There is nothing so soothing to a guilty conscience as to be out of the path of the avenger. Mr. Morehouse stormed into the house.
"Where's the ink?"
He shouted at his wife as soon as his foot was across the door-sill. Mrs. Morehouse jumped guiltily. She never used ink. She had not seen the ink, nor moved the ink, nor thought of the ink. But her husband's tone convicted her of the guilt of having borne and reared a boy, and she knew that whenever her husband wanted anything in a loud voice, the boy had been at it.
"I'll find Sammy," she said
meekly. When the ink was found, Mr. Morehouse wrote rapidly, and he read the completed letter and smiled a triumphant smile.
"Huh, that'll settle that crazy Irishman,"
he exclaimed.
"When they get that letter, he'll hunt another job, all right."
A week later, Mr. Morehouse received a long official envelope with the card of the Interurban Express Company in the upper left-hand corner. He tore it open eagerly and drew out a sheet of paper. At the top it bore the number A6754. The letter was short.
"Subject, rate on guinea pigs,"
it said.
"Dear Sir, we are in receipt of your letter regarding rate on guinea pigs between Franklin and Westcote addressed to the president of this company. All claims for overcharge should be addressed to the Claims Department."
Mr. Morehouse wrote to the Claims Department. He wrote 6 pages of choice sarcasm, vituperation, and argument, and sent them to the Claims Department. A few weeks later he received a reply from the Claims Department. Attached to it was his last letter.
"Dear Sir,"
said the reply,
"your letter of the 16th, addressed to this department, subject rate on guinea pigs from Franklin to Westcote, received. We have taken up the matter with our agent at Westcote, and his reply is attached herewith. He informs us that you refused to receive the consignment, or to pay the charges. You have therefore no claim against this company, and your letter regarding the proper rate on the consignment should be addressed to our Tariff Department."
Mr. Morehouse wrote to the Tariff Department. He stated his case clearly, and gave his arguments in full, quoting a page or two from the encyclopedia to prove that guinea pigs were not common pigs. With the care that characterizes corporations when they are systematically conducted, Mr. Morehouse's letter was numbered, okayed, and started through the regular channels. Duplicate copies of the bill of lading, manifest, Flannery's receipt for the package, and several other pertinent papers were pinned to the letter, and they were passed to the head of the Tariff Department. The head of the Tariff Department put his feet on his desk and yawned. He looked through the papers carelessly.
"Miss Kane,"
he said to his stenographer,
"take this letter. Agent, Westcote, New Jersey. Please advise why consignment referred to in attached papers was refused domestic pet rates."
Miss Kane made a series of curves and angles on her notebook and waited with the pencil poised. The head of the department looked at the papers again.
"Huh, guinea pigs,"
he said.
"Probably starved to death by this time. Add this to that letter. Give condition of consignment at present."
He tossed the papers onto the stenographer's desk, took his feet from his own desk, and went out to lunch. When Mike Flannery received the letter, he scratched his head.
"Give present condition?"
he repeated thoughtfully.
"Now what do them clerks be wanting to know, I wonder? Present condition, is it? Them pigs, praise St. Patrick, do be in good health, so far as I know. But I never was no veterinary surgeon to dago pigs. Maybe them clerks wants me to call in the pig doctor and have their pulses took. One thing